And joining me now live from Jenin in occupied West Bank is Osama Nazzal. He is a Palestinian affairs analyst. Very good to have you here on the program, sir. I want to talk to you about the legacy of countries such as the UK and, of course, France, which will also recognize the state of Palestine next week. What we're seeing happening today in the Middle East, in Gaza, in Israel, is that sort of a consequence of things that happened back in 1917, that Balfour Declaration?
Without any doubt that the cause for the Palestinian suffering and the Palestinian catastrophe was that resolution issued by the UK and by a Balfour Declaration, by which the Jewish entity was established on the land that does not belong to the British or to the Jewish people. It was established on the land of Palestine. And because of that colonial Western policy, the Palestinian Nakba started and is still going on until today. As the suffering the Palestinian people are going through today, and the genocide and the massacres that we see in Gaza, and the problems also in the West Bank and Jerusalem, are just an extension of the Palestinian Nakba that was caused by that colonial powers resolution in the 30s and the 40s of the past century. So today the UK recognizes the state of Palestine, but I think this recognition is long overdue, and we know that this does not mean that the Nakba that befell the Palestinian people is forgotten, as most of the Palestinians in Gaza and many in the West Bank are refugees because they were expelled from their homeland because of these colonial powers' resolution to create Israel on the land that does not belong to the Jews or to the Western colonial powers.
You heard these statements coming out of Israel now calling for the annexation of the West Bank. We also heard from Netanyahu earlier. He's saying that the creation of a Palestinian state actually endangers the existence of Israel. What happened today with Australia, with Canada and the UK recognizing the state of Palestine? Will that be enough to have any kind of impact on the ground, or do you need to have more things happening, more countries stepping up and making this kind of announcement, or even other actions? Are you looking for, more sanctions, or what are you looking for it to actually have an impact on the ground?
Yeah, concerning the Israeli policy of genocide and annexation is nothing new really, and it is not connected to the Western countries' recognition of the state of Palestine. We know that more than 750,000 Jewish settlers are living in the occupied Palestinian territory of the West Bank and Jerusalem. These hundreds of thousands of Jewish settlers have not come yesterday or today. So the Israeli colonial project started decades ago, and whether these countries recognize the state of Palestine or they don't recognize the state of Palestine, Netanyahu is going to continue through the same course of genocide and colonization. But the Israeli occupation is trying to use this recognition as a pretext in order to speed up and accelerate the project of colonization and the project of grabbing most of the Palestinian land and isolating all of Jerusalem from the rest of the Palestinian territories. I think this reminds the countries that recognize the state of Palestine that recognition alone is not enough, and it must be followed by commitments, including sanctions on the Israeli occupation, imposing on the Israeli occupation to stop genocide against the Palestinians in Gaza, and put a blueprint plan to end Israel's occupation of the Palestinian land in order to materialize the result of this recognition by establishing the state of Palestine on a 22% only of historic Palestine. And I mentioned this issue, 22% of historic Palestine, to remind all that this recognition is not a gift, and it is not a donation, And I think the Palestinians' acceptance of building their state on 22% only of their homeland is a big concession, and given because of the geopolitical situation and the balance of power that we have.
All right. Osama Nazzal, thank you as always for your analysis here on the program.
Thank you.